to launch. It's being recorded, okay? It is the most perfect time for you to kick off. If you have not talked about it, tonight is when you start talking about it. So just giving you a little tip, you can story this when Amoila comes on, do some Instagram stories, talk about the new program, put your face on the screen and talk about this new program that's launching in a couple weeks. This program is absolutely incredible. Raise your hand if you've done any of his other programs. 4-week prep, 6 weeks of the work, any of that? Okay. Same here. I have done the 6 weeks of the work 3 times. I've done prep once, and those programs I thought those were the best of the best. This program just takes it to a whole new level. It is 90 days, and obviously I'm not going to say too much because I want the man himself to tell you about his program. But it's not like any other program we have out there. I'll say that. It's not like any other program. One thing that he said while we're in the test group, he has said is that this is like a lifestyle-based program. And I remember him saying, you can do this program year round, and then once a year, do 6 weeks of the work. And that really stuck with me because I'm all about making this a lifestyle. And so are we, right? We want this to be a lifestyle, not like a, get quick results and then bounce back to where we were before. And this program does that. I have never been, oh, he's on. I'm going to stop talking and let him take over.
No. It's all good. It's all good. You're so good, Allie. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted you to know that he's on. Amoila, are you there?
Hey. I was just listening to all these amazing things. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. It's an honor to be able to talk to you guys. Not sure if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast.
They're from all over, Amoila, like literally Canada. You've got East Coast, you got South, you've got everywhere across the Midwest, you've got everywhere.
Oh, we got a show tonight.
Yes, we do.
Everyone, and I'm excited to be here to talk to you guys. But go on. I just loved everything you guys were saying. Keep going. So I'm excited to be here. Obviously, we're going to talk about 645. Much different than 6 weeks of the work. So we're going to get into that. I heard Allie talking about that, and I'm going to go into more detail of what to expect. Also, if you hear some noise going by, I apologize. Just have nature and cars driving by. So just wanted to let that be known and clear. So how do you guys want to do this? Do you guys want to ask questions? Do you want to narrate? Or you want me to just go off the dome? However you guys want to do it, I'll follow your lead.
Absolutely. Amoila, I'd love for you just to give a high level overview, spend, 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll open it up for Q&A if that's okay.
That's perfect.
Cool.
All right. So where do we begin? 6:45, 6 days a week, 45 minutes a day of your time. That's what this program is all about. I think what makes the program, but what makes this program so unique is there's an activation phase beginning every workout, which is 10 to 15 minutes long. Now we're going to go in more detail about that, but I know previous and prior programs, there's not a long activation. And we're going to talk about what's the importance of that. And we're also going to talk about, again, how this program is different than 6 weeks of the work. But let me give you guys some backstory on how this program started. So when Carl reached out to me last summer, he wanted me to create another program, but he wanted me to focus more on bodybuilding. So I'm not sure if you guys know Carl Deichler, which I'm assuming you guys should know who he is. He's the boss man. He usually comes up with the concepts. He usually brings an idea with us, and we get to work and be creative with it. This was the first idea that I had to say, nope, Carl, sorry, but don't want to do a bodybuilding program. I think looking at the Netflix of training videos that we have on Beachbody On Demand, what I noticed was there was no program that focused on corrective exercises that can help, that can get you guys to the next level. I think most of our programs are fun, they're exciting, they're intense, they have all different modalities, but I think we were neglecting the most important part, which is imbalances. And give you a little background about me. I'm a corrective exercise specialist. So I basically study the body And we study the body to see where there's an imbalance or a dysfunction. Either you have a tight hamstring, you have tight quads, you have to lean forward when you go down into a squat, your heels pop up, or maybe you feel pain in your shoulder and you don't know why. Those usually comes from movement or static malalignments. So a malalignment that you could do every day is the way you sit. Maybe right now you're hunched over, rounding your shoulders right now, looking at this computer screen. Uh-oh, I know somebody corrected their posture. No, that's not me. Or maybe it's this dynamic malalignment that you do every day. Maybe you hold your kid on your hip. Maybe you walk with your suitcase on one side. Maybe when you drive, you lean to one side. So we do these common movements all the time that creates imbalances. Now, we don't realize that it's an imbalance. We just think that that's just a habit that we have and cool. But what ends up happening is that habit keeps building up and it keeps building bad form and bad posture. And then when you start working out, you feel a little fatigued fast. Maybe it's hard to get in certain positions. Maybe you can't get your hip flexor all the way up. Maybe you can't bring your knee up in that Spider-Man pose or maybe a yoga pose that you weren't able to do. And a lot of times we would just think that, oh, I can't do that. No, actually you can do that. If you look at your kids, you watch how your kids crawl, they learn how to walk, then they learn how to run. But when you first see your kids, they're super mobile. They can sit in a squat, they can talk to you in a squat and they have no pain. And we were all born that way. What happens is we just continue to do certain movements or we train a certain way and we lose that mobility. So with the active warm-up, let me get back to it. The active warm-up is basically us spending time working on imbalances. I did my homework. I looked for all the most common imbalances that most people have: back pains, knee pains, ankle pains, shoulder, headaches. And what I did was I created a warm-up that addresses most of those issues, but also it focuses on the work that we have at task. So before you go into a workout, now you're properly warmed. We went through those movements, we went through those planes of motions that you're gonna do in your workout so you can actually optimize and actually feel great. So you guys ever work out and then you feel better on like the second set or maybe the third set, you finally feel like you're warmed up, like you feel good? Like, okay, I feel good to go. It's like you call it your second wind, but technically that's just your body naturally waking up its central nervous system and you're actually prepping your body and now your body is ready to work. By the time we start, you're gonna be ready to work. It's not gonna take you set 2, set 3, or maybe the second block to get ready. You're gonna feel great. So that's the premise of 645. So to give you an overview, it's a 13-week commitment. I'm gonna say that over and over and over and over. Commitment is the key. We have to decide now that we're gonna do this. The reason why is, like I go back to the baby analogy, how long did it take your kid to walk, to learn how to walk? Took months, I'm sure, took years, maybe 18 months, maybe 2 years. I don't have a kid, ladies, you're gonna have to tell me. You guys let me know that timeline, but I promise you, it didn't happen overnight. And so some of these imbalances that we created doesn't get fixed in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. It takes time. So 10 months, someone 14 months, nice. So it takes time. And so if you're trying to change someone's what is anthrokinematics, which is the way our body moves, if you're trying to change someone's form and the way they move, it doesn't happen in a couple weeks. It'll take a couple months, but you will see huge changes in 3 weeks. You'll feel completely different, but we haven't laid down that foundation. You'll feel good at the moment, just like when you stretch your hamstring, you feel great at that moment, then you wake up the next day and your hamstring is still sore. Same thing, we gotta keep building and building quality movement. So this program focuses on that. Now let's go compare it to 6 weeks of the work, because I get this question all the time. Well, I love extreme workouts. I heard that it's an easy version. I'm so disappointed. I was looking for something intense. This program is similar, but different. Let me explain. In the first stage, which is stage 1, we're focusing on your fundamental skills. When we get to stage 2, we're now adding more complexity to it, but not by much. We're still focusing on our balance, we're working on our posture, our form. Then when we get to stage 3 and stage 4, Then we get into the 6 weeks of the work-ish, but nowhere near as extreme. 6 weeks started off extreme from day 1 to week 6. Here, we're progressing you. And so I'm gonna go even more in details to this to help you guys understand the program more. So the first 2 weeks, I call it a accumulation phase. You're getting used to your movements. You're doing a lot of high volume exercises because we wanna build your endurance. Then on the 3rd week, we do strength training where it's intense loads, a lot of lifting, which is still you're doing lifting in week 1 and 2, but we're lifting heavier. So then it's called the intensification phase, where now instead of doing 15 reps of everything, you're doing 10 reps of everything, and you're reducing the set and the volume. And then when we get to our 4th week, it's our deload week. So this is a built-in recovery week. Now, the reason why I wanted to have a built-in recovery week on the end of every stage is because technically the biggest and the most important part of your training is what we're neglecting, which is recovery. Recovery is so important for you guys to get to the next level. A lot of times we're constantly go, 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 and we never slow down. And then we hurt ourselves. And then we get fatigued. And then we can't keep pushing. I built in recovery, so your program looks like rolling hills. You go up in intensity, it goes down with recovery. It goes up with intensity, it goes down. So we create this balance that's constantly going up, rolling up, instead of just a rocket that goes straight up. And the reason why is because that's just teaching your body and teaching you how to properly move and properly recover. So just to give you guys just that little overview of it, it is 6 days a week. So Monday, lower body. Tuesday, we focus on power. Wednesday, we focus on mobility and stability, which is super important, my favorite day. Thursday, we focus on upper body. With every day is full body, just so you know. But we focus on different areas. Friday, we focus on tempo. Now, this is where we go into some primal movements, more like bar. If you guys aren't familiar with animal flow, you guys are very familiar with bar blend. And so we focus more on the body and how we move. There are some strength training segments in our Friday workout, but most of it, as you get closer and closer into the stages, we will have a lot of animal flow just to teach you how to crawl, teach you how to move, teach you how to get up. It's very important because I'm going back to that baby. Remember, we need to learn how to crawl. We need to do all those things that we used to know how to do and we lose as we get older. And then Saturday, it's always cardio. 45 minutes of good old cardio. So that's always fun. And we repeat that cycle weekly. Now, some of you guys, I know Allie's in the test group. And so I've modified the test group greatly. Like I've changed the program since the test groups because I got so much great feedback, but also there were a lot of things that I wanted to change. And so I made a huge change in the program. Even Allie's gonna be surprised when she goes back and she's gonna realize, like, wow, that's way different. And so we added so much more to it because I want this to be fresh and new. And the biggest question is, no, it is not explicit. Nope, I am not cursing. I know some of you guys are like, but I want you guys to understand that I have so many different sides of me. And yeah, 6 weeks of the work will live on its own. It will always be that program where you got the killer out of you, but this program has to be different. I want to talk to a different audience. I want to meet people. I want to learn people. I want to help people. Some people love explicit, some people don't. And this was a choice that I chose because I want to be able to hit more people who love a clean mouth. So, but do I curse here and there? I'm not sure. They're probably gonna bleep it out. They might not bleep it out. I don't know what they're gonna do, but we're still filming, so we're still trying to figure that out. There is music in the backdrop, so I know that was another thing. We got some good music, new catalog, new everything. You know, I'm into hip hop. So for me, I got a blend of hip hop. I have a blend of everything, a little R&B, a little slow jam here and there. So it's really cool. And we're just doing a lot of amazing things. You know, I love the way this program has been built. I love it because I had a lot of creative input. And this is the first time where I've ever had this much input. Obviously, I'm not a rookie anymore. I can call some shots. I can make some suggestions. And I see the question. Yes, there is a modifier. You have 2 modifiers the entire way. So you will be guided throughout this entire program. Everything that you thought about, we've already crossed it off the list. It really took me over a year to create this. And I wanted to create something that I just know that this is going to be the best program that Beachbody has ever had. And that's just me. I don't know why I feel this way so strongly about this, but I just genuinely feel this way. And I'm excited for every one of you guys to get a chance to just check it out. So hopefully that was decent enough. I don't know. We can leave it open for questions, or I can go in even further. So whatever you guys want to do, I'm on your time.
I have a list of questions for you. So I have a list. So I'm just going to go down the list for you, and then you can just answer them. And then I'm literally copying and pasting the messages over so I can do the ones that you haven't addressed already. So the first question is, actually, I'm going to do 2-part. Is there a fit test for the program? And is this okay for beginners and pregnancy and postpartum mamas?
Yes. So there is, I wouldn't say it's a fit test, it's an assessment. So we do an overhead squat assessment with a bunch of other assessments. The reason why is the overhead squat assessment can tell me anything about the body. If your arms are falling forward when you go into a squat, or if your heels are coming up, if we're going into a squat, that one simple move, that squat, is the most complex move to do in the world. And if you can master a squat, you are most likely, I will say 90, unless you have an injury, you are 99% sure that you are able to do the work that I'm going to ask you guys to do. So we have an assessment where I test your posture. Now, if you don't pass, the great thing about this program is all the bonus work is there designed for you. If your heels kick up, if your arms fall forward, if you have like the shoulder pain, we address it in all of the bonus material, and that will be your homework. I give you homework. Like, I think the biggest thing is a lot of times we don't tie in the bonus work. Bonus work, yes, you get an extra little cardio, but we should make it more mandatory for people who have needs that, they haven't been met. So I made sure you have cardio bonus, leg bonus, shoulder bonus, but the biggest bonus is the corrective exercises. So if your heels kick up, or if you have knee pain, or if your shoulder hurts, there's bonus material in there to help. Now, I can't fix everything. Obviously, there are some things that you need to see your doctor for, but for the general masses, I feel like I checked everything off, and I will promise you the responses, the feedbacks, the emails, the DMs, the pigeon messages that they send. I'm getting all these people who are saying I am healed. I never thought I would never I feel this great. People who have had debilitating back problems, it's gone. Knee pains, it's gone. And the messages keep flooding in. So the test groups are amazing. I'm sorry, Ali, you asked another question.
Pregnancy and postpartum. Is
Yes.
it safe for them?
Yes. So I will say up until stage 2, I believe that you were great. When we get into stage 3 is still intense. You still can do it. Depends on the stage of where you are in your pregnancy. In the beginning stage, you can get through 13 weeks in the beginning stage of pregnancy. If you're in your second trimester, I would say stage 3 is the most challenging part. I've regressed a lot of the work from stage 1 to stage 2. But yes, I also recommend to repeat stages. If you haven't passed certain checkpoints at the end of stage 1, that's where you go back to stage 1 again and you repeat it. If you haven't passed your checkpoint in stage 2, you go back to stage 2, and that's where your bonus work will come in and only help you get there. If you don't do the assessment, I think it's a huge part that you're missing. That assessment is so important, and it takes you 5 minutes. It's not long. There's a video, I'm demonstrating what we're looking for. And if there's some imbalances, then we got to go back and start working on those imbalances. Because if you ask me, why can't my feet go up to my hands in this position? It's because your hip flexors are tight. And you want to know I gave you homework in your bonus work to fix that. And if you ignore it, then we're going to constantly be in this trouble spot. You're going to have this sticking point. So I wanted to make sure all those questions that you have were addressed in the bonus work. So yes, you can postpartum as well. Yes.
Perfect. And I will say this is that with a lot of the Beachbody programs, it's very much like fast and furious. I feel like you go into it like go, 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 go. And I know for me, I had a hard time with those 10 to 15 minutes of like the warm up and the cool down. And I came into this, I'm like, I am going to be intentional about the movement, the breath work. And I fell in love with it. It's like my favorite part. So I would say for all of you that are worried about the warm up, the cool down, that extra time that isn't normally in the Beachbody programs, I'm telling you, it's life-changing. Like it is life-changing. I feel like you come into the workout and leave the workout in a more peaceful state, peaceful, present, intentional. It's so powerful. Like I have goosebumps talking about it. It's so amazing. Okay, next question is what equipment is needed?
Power loops. So let's talk about power loops. So first off, we know dumbbells, set of dumbbells, light, medium, heavy. You know, this program, you can take it to a gym, you can use barbells, you can use kettlebells. I give analogies, I show you guys exactly how to do it. Now, you don't need that. All you need is dumbbells and your power loops. And I'm gonna explain your power loops. If you don't have your power loops, you can use your old resistant bands, your yellow, your green, your blue. You're more than welcome, or you have a pair for yourself. That's all you need. Foam roller. You don't have a foam roller, you buy one right now, okay? I'm not even gonna debate that. I'm not gonna have this conversation with you. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you don't have a foam roller, you make one, okay? You get a lacrosse ball, you figure this out, but you have to foam roll. I promise you, we're gonna bridge the gap. You're gonna fix your body. You're gonna be your own mechanic when you're done with this. You're gonna pop open the hood and you're gonna know what's wrong with yourself. And that's where I'm trying to help you guys save on the tax, the health tax, save your body from having to go to see some doctor when you could have fixed it on your own. Now, those are the only things that you need. Now, the power loops are our premium bands. Now, I love them because I don't know about you ladies or guys, but I have hair on my legs. And when I roll up those old bands that we have, the plastic ones, it gets tangled in there. They get so dirty and nasty, they tear, and you just hit yourself in the face with it. These new premium loops are amazing. They're easy to put on. They're more durable, they're cloth material, and they just feel great. So I love them because of that, and I get a better workout while I'm using these bands. I tear and rip bands all the time. So cloth is the way to go. So that's all you need. Now, I've had so many people ask, like, how could I like do this in the gym? Could I use a barbell? Yes, you can do all of that. And I explain it, I have it on set. I use certain things on set, even though they're not mandatory for you. But just to show you guys how you can do this as well if you don't have certain equipment or you want to use your other equipment. So.
Okay, last question for you. It's the one question that I know that there's sometimes controversy is nutrition and intermittent fasting.
Ooh. Okay.
Take it over.
So this is a tough one. And the reason it's not tough for me, it's just really legal wise. But I will go into detail about it. Good thing is we are having intermittent fasting. There's Portion Fix now that, you know, me and Autumn, did I give out information? Whatever, it's too late, came out my mouth. So me and Autumn have, we've collaborated on fasting and intermittent fasting. And so there will be an option for you guys if you are into intermittent fasting to do intermittent fasting while doing this program. Oh, Carl did announce it. Yes. So you will be able to do intermittent fasting. You will learn a lot more. I actually just shot a segment with Autumn today about intermittent fasting, and we went into detail about it. So you guys have my green light. I do it. I've been doing it for 4 years, and I talk all about the science. And we just go into detail on how it works for you. Now, it's not going to work for everyone, but it has to be based off of your lifestyle. And that's where we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to go into detail. I want you guys to pay attention to that segment because it's very important and I go in a lot of detail. But I will tell you, I do the 16-8 method if anyone is curious. So.
Amoila, you are, oh, go ahead. Allie, were you going to say something?
I was to ask one more question because you might not say it with Autumn is, do you work out then break your fast, or do you break your fast then work out?
I work out, then break my fast.
Okay.
I skip breakfast. I don't eat. And then I eat directly after my workout. So like while I'm filming, I don't eat. And we usually break for our first break is around 11. So I'll eat around that time. I'll tell you, there's a lot of noise going on back here. So hopefully that doesn't bother you guys.
Not at all. And Amoila,
It's different. I'm telling you guys, I just feel in the bottom of my soul that this was what was needed for the community. You know, I looked and I saw how many people did 6 weeks of the work to how many people who couldn't. And there was a huge net that I didn't cast. And I wanted to make sure that I could include everyone. Beginners, I can meet you wherever you are. There's just, this program is meant for anyone who's looking to learn more about their body and to get better, to look better, to feel better. I saw a supplement question, so I'm gonna ask that right now. I'm gonna go into detail about that. I have my little supplement pack that I believe that everyone should use. You know, I use Energize, I use Hydrate. I don't use Hydrate as much as I use Energize, but there are days where I'm not feeling great and I just need a little picker up. I'll use Energize, but I don't use Energize every single day. And the reason why is I don't want to be, not say addicted to it, but I don't want to adapt to it. Because after a while, you keep drinking it every day, you're gonna feel like you need coffee and a shot of espresso on top of it because you just get so used to stimulants. So I always cycle it on and cycle it off. So it just keeps me guessing. But the biggest things that you're gonna need is recover. I feel like that's super important. Recharge is important because if you are sore, which I'm expecting you not to feel defeated, but if you are a beginner, you might feel sore the first week or two to just get used to it. That just will help you get faster, just come back faster. So BCAAs is an important thing that I recommend. Creatine, I'm definitely gonna recommend to help build. And you guys know I'm a Shakeology freak. So I usually have my Shakeology at night. I use that as my probiotic and prebiotic. And so when I wake up in the morning, it's just a clean transaction. I'm just flushing out. And so I'm telling you, some of you guys think like, hey, Shakeology just makes me use the bathroom. Well, you got to know when to use it. And you got to know how to use it. And I use Shakeology as some nice probiotics. So.
Amoila, listen, on behalf of every single one of us that's on the call, everyone unmute yourself and give them a big round of applause. Is it July yet? Is it July yet? That's all we want to know. So appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing. Allie, thank you for moderating the questions, for being a part of the test group. This program is for everyone. And it's all about making that commitment. And I hope every single one of you are going to make the commitment to be a part and to be a part of this program. It is revolutionary. With that being said, I will share the recording to all of you, to all of the leaders that are on this call. And then without further ado, have the most amazing evening, everyone. And thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was special.